Hi, welcome to the Discord. So I thought I'd share some tips and tricks and helpful little things that I find out here and there that I don't feel like making a full YouTube video about. So let's start this with things about the coloring tool, as it definitely is the most annoying part about Blender Grease Pencil. Let's have a look. Let's talk about the boundary stroke. In the fill tool you can draw Ctrl Shift and should get a boundary stroke, but as you see here you don't see anything. But if you go into the edit mode, you see there are some strokes here. So why don't you see them when you're in your draw mode? And that might be of different reasons. And that is because of your render view. And if you switch it to this second one, you will see them here. Also make sure that in your fill bucket you have a material selected that has a color as a fill and not just a line. And then you should see these. Later on, if you don't need them anymore, you can get rid of them by saying clean up boundary strokes. That should solve most of your issues with the boundary stroke. So let's dive deeper into the fill tool. I want to share with you the settings that work for me best. First I want to talk about the internal fill options. Let's put also these settings will also appear here. So precision 2, dilate 2, thickness 2. And then the boundary, use all or strokes. Use all the layers that are visible. Then simplification on 0. This I have off. And if you want to use the gap closure, make sure you use extend and visual aids. So if you click inside, you get these lines. You can increase or decrease them by clicking Alt. By the way, on the left you always see my shortcuts. And then just click in. You always have to click twice now. Another quick tip for coloring, make sure that in your Story Tools add-on you select Zoom on 1:1. So this is 100%. For some strange reason, this fill tool is also connected to how far away you're zoomed in and out. So make sure you're on 1:1. That gets you the most satisfying results. Then you notice that there's these gaps always, and that can be very annoying. What I usually do while you're in the fill bucket, you press Shift, and that gives you this lasso fill, and that way you can quickly make sure all these gaps are closed. But you might not get all of them because some of them might be hidden below the lines. And for that I usually check if that is the case, like so. Sometimes it can also be very hard to see if there is a gap or not because you have a very bright color, for example, in the filling. So for that you can go into the world settings here and change the color of the background. Sometimes like a green or something that really pops can help you out there to better see your gaps. Then there is an option that you can color in from the outside. Let me show this on this example. So again, we make sure that we're on zoom 1, and for this negative fill option I would recommend precision 2, dilate contrast 0, thickness 1, and then keep these as before. Make sure the size though is on 0 here, the gap closure. Yeah, that's it. And then you click anywhere outside of your character and it should fill in everything like this. As you see, there sometimes are problems that appear like here, but if you switch off the line here, then that gives you satisfying results. Depending on the form, you get very mixed results with this negative one, because if it's sort of like only bulging out, then it's no problem. Let's color this in here. Oh, this one went fine. What can happen though, that this here is not correctly filled, or let me show you this on an actual character here. I put some boundary strokes wherever there is a gap. And now if I close this, you get very mixed results. You see all these problems appearing here, and even if you go on zoom 1:1, it's a mess. So the negative or the inverted fill option, I feel like you have to use it carefully. It doesn't bring consistent results, and I find it can be very, very annoying and fussy if you have an actual character like this. If you have some settings that always work for you for the negative one, please let us know, because yeah, this is quite a tough one. Also, what can be very annoying is switching between the draw tool and the fill tool. And did you know that you can put a shortcut on them? So hovering over one of these and right clicking, you see you can change a shortcut here and put any shortcut that you want. I, for example, have Shift Q to go into draw mode and Shift G to go into the fill bucket. Make sure though that for each of these drawing functions you have a dedicated material here pinned down. Otherwise they will try to use both the same material, which of course for the drawing is just a line, and then you can't color and wonder why is it not coloring, because it also, here you see, takes on the solid stroke of the draw mode. So pin this and then change this to whatever fill material you have and pin that too, and now switching between draw mode and coloring mode, they will have the right material dedicated. And last, the donut problem. So you have this ring and you want the outside ring to have a color and the inside to be without a color. Usually you fill in the outer ring and then you notice the inside is also filled. How do you get rid of that? So one way is by doing a boundary stroke through the middle, and then you color like this. Later on getting rid here of the boundary stroke and you're good. And the second method is by coloring it and then creating a dedicated material, new, with just a fill color, and have it set on holdout. And name this also negative or something. And if you use this one here, the negative, then that gets rid of the middle. It's still green, remember this is still green from the world setting. So yeah, the middle will now be empty. I want to show you one last cool trick with the materials. That is, you get a line, but not like a blue, any color line, and you also create that material to have a fill at the same time. And when you draw, it actually has both of it at the same time. That way you don't have to fill in later, but you can clean up your drawing like that, and you save yourself time in the process of coloring everything in. One thing that might annoy you here is by drawing something and then drawing something again, it always goes on top, you see, but you can switch on this button here and the next stroke will then be behind. Then later on you of course can change the color of each of these materials. So I recommend creating a couple of materials like that with different colors that you like, and then you can change between them here freely. That's it for today. Bye bye.